So you can tell from the title of the video that these are not the topic of today's video, but I'm showing them off because I'm currently working on them. They are two Game Boy Colors, both have suffered some water damage. This is the one I'm trying to repair, and I'm using this one just probably for parts. But this one shows a bit of promise, and I'll show you what I've been doing. I have been repairing practically every little via and trace on here. The chips have came off, the game slot has been taken off, and I'm slowly rebuilding it bit by bit. I've started to check every pin on the main CPU, make sure they're all going to the places where they should be going, but it's taken some time, but I'm determined to get it working. So they are for a later video. This and this is the topic of today's video, and I don't know which one's which, so we'll open up the easy one first. So it's a Game Boy Advance that does not switch on. The battery contacts look okay. Battery cover included. So that's something to look at. But it came with 3 games. So the first game is Gargoyles. The second game is Wave Race. And the third game is a poor copy of The Amazing Spider-Man. So that's to look at. And this one must be the very poor. This one must be the very poor Game Boy Advance. What's he done? Is this a trick? Why would you do that? There's no need. Absolutely no need. It's like a mummy. It's like I'm playing Pass the Parcel. What on earth? I can only assume the seller's got about 20 rolls of brown tape that he wants to get rid of. It's going to be harder to get into the bloomin' packet than it is to repair it. This is madness. I still can't get in. The state of the console does not warrant the amount of... Right. I'm in. Right, well, I don't think I've ever seen one in bad a condition as that. I'm a bit dubious about the markings on the screen here. The battery terminals have gone, but I'm hoping to come up with a working motherboard. This is filthy, absolute filthy. We'll start with this one. Right, I need some tri-wings. Oh dear, the screws are completely rusted. This might be a challenge. I'm going to pop the screws in here with a bit of white vinegar. I think they're too far gone. I don't think I'm going to get these cleaned up. But I've got some spares. I'm not going to get it. No. I think it's totally rusted away. Oh dear. Last one as well. I'm going to try a very small flathead. Nah. I should be able to get some traction on there, surely. That's a 3.5. This is a 2.5. 2.5 is not doing anything. Nah. That's slightly too big. And a 1.5 is probably going to be slightly too small. Yep. Yep. No. Everything I try is just grinding the screw up even more. I think I'm going to have to Dremel that out. Oh look, it started to move. Wow, that was lucky. So that's going straight in the bin. What vial are we going to find in here? The volume wheel looks like it's gone, but at least this side of the board doesn't look too bad. I don't think the battery contacts are going to work, so I'll put 3 volts directly in and we'll see what happens. Should we try the battery contacts? Yeah, we will. We'll give that a bit of a rub and we'll try them. So I'm just rubbing this with a fiberglass pen and a bit of white vinegar. The impossible restoration. Right, switch on. It's actually come on. Put one of these games in. Does it play these games? I think it does. Let's come up Nintendo. That doesn't look right. Has it rebooted? It's rebooted. That's interesting. Start. Press start. Is that supposed to do that? Start button's not working. It might have rebooted because of the batteries. I'll try that game in a different one. This is the Game Boy Color that I repaired. Does that game... That game's been well used. Look at the cartridge. Right, what does this do? Is it supposed to do that? It must be. So the game looks like it's working. Is that supposed to do it like that? Someone tell us in the comments, please. It looks like it's supposed to do it like that because it's the exact same every time. Whereas if it was a fault, I would have thought it would have been different. Right. So we'll use that game to test. So this is actually working, but it needs some TLC and perhaps a new volume wheel, which I think I might have. We need to dismantle it and pop everything in some hot soapy water, and then we'll see if we can retrobright the case back up. I can't believe it's working. The pads are filthy, but they're not ripped. I don't know what that is. Some kind of woodlouse, I think. So other than the speaker, that's not too bad. I think that would probably clean up. Them buttons feel okay. So we'll take the speaker off and we'll give the board a good cleaning, some IPA. See if we can remove this. There's some damage on here, which I think is going to be the screen. I think the screen's delaminated. What? Yeah, is that the right term? There's a cover on that screen. I don't know what this cover's for. Totally see-through. Any ideas? I wonder if this white will clean up. I don't want to use IPA. Let's have a look. No, I don't want to. Do I want to use IPA? That might clean off. I'll try a bit of Mr. Sheen. There's a mark here and a mark up here, which don't seem to be moving. Right, anyways, put that to one side, and we'll put this in my retrobright tub. I'll give them a wash first. Take out this. Right, so they need a wash, and that needs to be cleaned with IPA. So I'm going to put the front, these have had a quick wash, and the back, if I can get them both in. So they go in there. This container has got blonde volume 40 in, and I'm going to put these shoulder buttons in. This one, that's quite yellowed, so they can go in. We'll see if anything happens with them. The rubber on start and select has got yellow, so we'll put that in. Now I've found an A button, but I'm a B button missing. I may as well put all the bits and pieces in to keep them all together, but I'm a B button missing. There it is. That hasn't been washed. I've left it out by mistake, but that can go in. So that's going to go in there. Pop that lid on and we'll leave it on the windowsill and we'll see how that cooks. The volume wheel on this is jammed. So we'll take that off, we'll take the speaker off, we'll take the volume wheel off. I'll take this negative battery terminal off and we'll see if we can clean that up. We'll soak that in some vinegar for a couple of hours. I suspect the headphone jack is all corroded inside, so I think I'll just take that off and soak that in vinegar too. Right, get that off. Ooh yeah, bugger, that's hot. Okay, that's off. Speaker off. And do I take this off? Doesn't look good, does it? There you go. That doesn't look too bad. So the next time you see this board, it'll be cleaned up with some IPA, along with the headphone jack and the negative terminal. We'll see if we can get that back to a working condition. The speaker is more than likely gone. We can try it, but I think I do have some speakers just to replace that. And I think that's all I need to clean up. No, that's not what I need to clean up. I need to clean up the other terminal, which is, did I put it in here? Yes, that one. I may as well put all these screws in some vinegar too. I've soaked the negative battery terminal and the middle battery connectors, and they've just disintegrated. So they're no good. I've got this board, so this is a bit of a test board. Unfortunately, the negative battery terminal is just as bad, so I cannot use that. So what I'll do is I'll solder a temporary wire on here to connect to the power supply. I'll put a new volume wheel on here. I'll reinstall the headphone jack, and we'll put it in one of these cases, and we'll see if it's working properly. That's the solder joints off. It's sticking somehow. Wow. Is that actually solder on the outside there? It's certainly well stuck. I don't think cleaning that with IP is going to do any good. Good grief. Right, let's see if we can clean that up. I think I might be in luck. These tabs seem a little bit too long. That's how far the wheel sticks out on the original. And that one's about the same. I just need to trim these tabs off, clear that hole, and I might be good to go. I'm going to pop some solder in these holes, and then I'm going to push the tab onto the hole where the solder is, and then heat the solder up, and hopefully I'll push the tab through the melted solder. It's actually worked. That's one through. There's the other one. The other one's well out of line. Now if I do that, I'm going to melt the plastic. So I'm going to have to do it this way and heat them up, press it in, but my fingers are getting too hot. I'll put a bit of low melt on. I think that's it. Those are all lined up on the pads nicely. Okay, so let's put this back on. It should just go straight in there. Might need a bit of persuasion. That's on nice. Look at that lovely rosin flux coming out of the solder. Okay, for testing purposes, I'm just going to solder a little wire onto there to attach it to my bench power supply. Before I put it back in the case, I do have a screen. I don't know if this one works, but we'll give it a shot. Right, let's try this. So I've got 3 volts and switch on. Taking nothing. Switch this on. Still taking nothing. Have I done something wrong? Because it was working before. Taking that off. I've taken that off. Oh, it is on, man. Look, Gameboy. What happened there then? Something's changed. I've got no speaker. Right, is it that switch? Is that switch faulty? Or is it something else? That was strange because it came on for a second there and it's gone off. Let's see what we've got. Right, now I've got 3 volts at the battery terminal and I didn't touch that switch. Something loose. Right, turn it off again. 3 volts. I've got nothing at the inductor. Switch comes in here. Yes. Switch goes out there. Nothing. So I think it's a switch. Well, I've got 2.9 there now at the switch and it's not come on. 2.9 at the inductor. 2.9 after the inductor. There's a little transformer on the other side of here somewhere. Now I've got nothing at the end. It's got to be that switch, surely. I think it's that switch. Oh, it's on again now. I just touch the switch with my nail. Goes off. I'm sure I've got some switches somewhere. I wonder if I can test the switch by testing the resistance. Pin 2 and C should be connected together. Open. So it's OL, and when you turn it on, it should go straight through. As you can see, it's having some trouble. So, where's my replacement switch? I found them. I knew I had some. Now, I'm sure these fit. These are tiny. That's not going to fit. Uh-oh. I was under the impression that these fit all of the other consoles as long as you pull the spring out. But that looks far too small. So plan B will be to open this switch up and see what it's like inside. If it's damaged, I might have to try and get one of these on. Right, let's have a look. There's a couple of springs on the bottom of here, and they don't look too bad. That might just clean up. There you go. That's a good result. And as for these two, the tips look okay. So we'll try that. We'll put that back together. I'll clean off anything off the inside of here. I'll put some de-oxit in there and we'll give it another try. I don't know how much de-oxit is too much. That might be a little bit too much. Okay, let's try that. Right, we've got the power supply on. Let's try this now. Straight away. And off. And back on. Straight away. Brilliant. Right, speaker. I've got a little Bluetooth speaker here with some power in. So we'll try that. See if we get audio because I've replaced the volume wheel. We'll do. Turn the volume all the way. Now the volume's staying the same no matter which way I turn this wheel, which is strange. I think we'll put a game in and I can turn it. So the game's loaded up, the speaker's on, but oddly enough, when I turn this, it stays the same, but that's not doing anything. I think I'll have to put a speaker on and test it that way. I've got the original speaker, but I don't know if it works. I don't even know where it's here. Should we put this in, see if it works, and test that volume wheel again. Test that power switch one more time. Yeah, that's spot on. Right, let's test that. Switch on. I heard a very slight ping from there. So I'll put the game in and it hasn't read the game. I'm getting nothing through the speaker. Sure, the speaker just folds around like that. So I've got to have it the right way. Of course that speaker could be faulty. I know what I'll do. I'll test a working one. Okay, so here's a working one. Nice and loud. Here's my speaker. Let's plug this in. Yeah, that's all the way down. Yeah, that gets really loud. So there's something wrong with the output on the speaker. Could it be corrosion in here? The speaker could be faulty, or this could be corroded. I've got a little speaker probe. So that goes to there. This is supposed to go to ground. I'm assuming ground on the power would work. So if I put my positive, there's positive, and that doesn't change. So it's not the contacts in here. I think it's the volume wheel. I wonder if one of these volume connectors is maximum volume. There's the sound coming out of the capacitor. I think these volume wheels I've bought from AliExpress are wrong. I don't think they're the right ones. If I take this working one and I give it some power through here, we'll bring the multimeter in. Pin 3 is positive, so voltage comes, pin 3 is positive, so voltage comes in on pin 3 and it goes to ground on pin 1. So I've got 1.8 volts. Pin 2 is the control. So I've got I turn it all the way one way, I get 1.8. If I turn it all the way the other way, I get millivolts. Nothing. Turn it midway, and I get 1.5. Turn it down, I get 0.8. So that's working, and that goes to this chip here. So that one's working. And we'll test the one that's not working. I get 1.9. I get 1.9 across the volume wheel. And the center pin is 1.9. but the center pin is always 1.9, no matter what I change. But the second pin in from this end, that's 0 to 1.9. 1.8, turn it down, 1. I think this volume wheel has been set up wrong. But that still doesn't explain why I'm not getting full volume out of here, because I'm getting the full 1.9 to this chip. There you go, full 1.9 volts. So I would imagine that that's full volume, but I'm not getting full volume. Here's the schematic. So we've got voltage coming in on pin 3. 1 here goes to ground, and 2 is, I don't know what the control of it, and it goes to volume at pin 10, which is volume on that chip. So something's not quite right with it. I've got C39 connected to the voltage ref pin. I wonder if that's got something to do with it. I'm going to have to do some more digging. So if I've got 1.9 or 1.8, if I've got 1.8 coming in here, and then coming out of on this, and then coming from this pin up to here, that should mean that it's full volume, I would think. So if this is the headphone jack, 4 and 5 appear to be the switch. So 4 and 5 look like they're the switch. Continuity, yes. So if I put a jack in, I should lose continuity between 4 and 5. And I do. Yep. The headphone jack seems to be working correctly. There's some filters around here. These filters test fine, but these R19 and R20 R19 here is 17 ohms, R20 is 1.7 kilo ohms, which doesn't seem right. But I don't want to go messing with them until I know for sure, because here they are, R19 and R20, and they go to left and right on the headphone socket. So I don't think it's them. There's something else not quite right. So I've got a electrolytic capacitor CP4 in that area. CP4 is from the speaker to ground, and it should be 100 UF. Why have I got no capacitance? None. Oh, here we go. 109, 108. That's close. Yep, that's it. That's okay. At the moment, it points to this volume wheel not being the correct one. But like I say, because I'm getting full volume here on the amp, that kind of says that it's okay. I wonder if I can look at this and say left and right pins 2 and 3. Left and right pins 2 and 3 are here, and they go to pins 13 and 15 on that chip. 13 should come to here, 1.4 mega ohms, and 15 comes to here, 1.4 mega ohms, 1.5. So that seems to be okay. I don't know what to do. So I'm a bit lost at the moment. I can hear the speaker very, very quietly if I put my ear to it. And that's very quiet. But it's very loud on the one that's working. Positive speaker out comes out of pin 17. So I'm going to ground this. And I'm going to put this on pin 17. 9, 18, 17. Oh god, I got it right, hang on. Pin 17. That makes no difference. I don't think it's the connection from the chip to the speaker. Something else. There doesn't seem to be any difference which way I turn that wheel. But I'm sure the wheel's, that's full volume. Which is, but still faulty. Because I'm getting the full voltage on the chip. So if I bring this up again, I'm at a total loss. Total lost. So I think I've cracked it. I cannot take credit for it. But if I turn this on, see I've got full volume. The speaker's still filthy, I need to clean that up. But I hope you can hear that. It is working. Turns down to nothing and turns all the way up. That's brilliant. Can I take credit for it? Because I found the solution on Reddit. And that is the solution. You have to bridge pins, whatever pins these are, that's 2. So you've got to bridge these pins. I don't know why. Presumably it's the wheel, the new wheels. I have thought about taking off the original wheel of this one and putting it on here, but I'll be messing about with it and it's not really needed. So I'm going to put this one back in the case. The case it came in is still sitting on the windowsill, slowly retrobrighting. So I'm going to use a different one, and I'm going to use this screen. That's the screen it came with, but it's got a couple of marks on it. But I might try this one back in, see how it works. Turn this off, and we'll switch it back on at the switch and see if it works. Perfect. Turn it off again. Turn it on. Brilliant. Spot on. So we'll get rid of that. Take that screen out. The only issue I've got with it at the moment is it's missing a battery contact. I've ordered one from eBay. If it turns up before I edit the video, we'll see that get put back on. That speaker could do with a bit of attention. We'll see if we can clean that up. So it works, but it's really grotty. This is just a little bit Mr. Sheen. That's not looking too bad. I think I need to do something with that soldering, get them soldered on properly. Okay, so that's the speaker cleaned and reattached. I'm going to be a pain and I'm going to check this every step of the way. I'm going to put the old screen in this time. And there's the speaker and the screen working. Perfect. Right, so I'm going to put this motherboard to one side because I hope the battery terminal is going to come before I wrap the video up. So we'll put all these away and we'll have a look at the blue one. So the blue one, like I said earlier, came with the 3 games, but it doesn't switch on. The battery contacts look okay, not too bad. We'll give them a clean. And I'm going to try and do this one by the book. So, switch on. Nothing. So we'll check the battery contacts. We should be able to check for voltage. So can I get in there and in there to check the voltage? Yes, I can. 2.89. That should be enough to power it, I would think. So the voltage is going through this terminal, even though it's a little bit corroded. it does seem to be working. So let's open it up and have a look at the inside. Right, let's see what we've got. That looks quite clean. There's some signs of green around here, so it's had some corrosion. Let's take a closer look. That could possibly be corroded on either side of the board. So we'll start at the fuse. So the positive comes to the fuse. Yes, and out the other side of the fuse. Yes. And then it comes to pin 2 here. Yes. And when the switch is in this position, it comes to here, which it's not doing. We should have continuity between 2 and C. And we don't. Do I have continuity from C to the inductor? Yes, we do. I think the problem is the switch. I think I'll take the top off and we'll have a look inside. I'm going to be very careful and I'm going to try and do it while it's in the case. Well, it looks okay inside. A little bit of green on the bottom there. Right, what have I got in here? Oh, look at that. I hope those little pins on the bottom of there are okay. I think we found a problem. That looks like it's going to clean up okay, but it'll be pointless doing that if these pins are damaged and broken. So we'll concentrate on this first. Let's see how close we can get. They look okay. I'm going to pop a bit of white vinegar on. And I'm going to clean that off straight away with some IPA. Let's concentrate on this. Put a little bit of white vinegar in. See, it's fizzing up there. I'm going to flush that out. I'll pop some de-oxit in there. Right, let's try that. Ah, I've spoiled it. I've left it switched on. So I've spoiled the big reveal. Right, let's try that. Brilliant. Let's we'll put the screws back in and then we'll try these we'll try the games first. These are Game Boy games, but this is a Game Boy Advance. So Wave Race works. Or does it? No, it doesn't. We'll put the screws back. We know the game works. We know the I don't know whether to put the. I'm going to put the screws back in because I think we're finished with them. Right. Game time. Wave Race. Nintendo. And it does indeed work. Push start. Oh, does my start button not work? Right, the start button's not working. Gargoyles. So the shoulder buttons are working. Gargoyles is not working. Right, start again. Gargoyles does work. But the start button does not. So now I'm feeling a bit foolish for putting the screws back in. Spider-Man. The Amazing Spider-Man is working. Fresh start. Nothing. Right, let's open it back up. It looked so clean inside, I didn't think I would have to. Vinegar on these battery contacts while I've got it open a second time. Right, let's have a look at this board and see what's going on with the start button. I'm hoping it's just a faulty rubber. There's that corrosion. It's the corrosion that you can see from the top as getting underneath these buttons. Let's have a look. Ah, nice and clean. So in that case, my thoughts are going to go to a faulty wire, clean as a whistle. Oh, hang on, I'm looking at the wrong buttons. I'm looking at the wrong buttons. The start buttons are a little bit corroded. I do apologise for my stupidity. That's why it's not starting. Let's see if we can just clean it off with some IPA. I'm going to put a little bit of vinegar on there. Look at it froth up. And then I'm going to flush it off with some IPA. I'll go and clean these up with a bit of hot soapy water. Right, buttons clean. We've still got some corrosion. I hope those wires are okay. There's only one way to find out. Don't know if I put the shoulder buttons in first or last. I'm feeling confident, so I'm going to put the screws in, because there's only two of them. So I'm going to put the case on. Oh, hang on. I can't do it, can I? Because I've took that out. I've got to clean this up. I may as well do it before I start. Vinegar fizzes up straight away. Clean it with IPA to get rid of the vinegar. There you go. Clean that off. Put it back in the back. Now I'm not feeling totally confident, so I'm just going to hold this together. Ah. Off. Get off. Right. Which one? Gargoyles. Switch on. Start. Oh yes, I think that's it. Brilliant. We'll try Tetris, because I'm sure Tetris has got to select. So we've got up and down working. Select's not doing anything, but I don't know if it does. Selected something there. So select's working. Start is most definitely working now, and the A and B buttons are working. Shoulder buttons are still working. So I'm going to pop them screws back in. I think I've been lucky with that one, in the sense that those wires haven't been corroded anymore. Okay, so that's all the screws back in. Straightforward fix. Wave Race, Gargoyles, The Amazing Spider-Man, Game Boy Advance. The question on your mind is, how much did I pay for it? There you go. That was £25 for the Game Boy and the 3 games delivered, and that was from Neil. So thank you, Neil, for that. That's been a nice little Game Boy to work on. Right, let's get back to the other one. I've managed to get some replacement battery terminals from Z Labs, and I've also got some new screen lenses from Mike over at One Up Gaming. There'll be a link to Mike's eBay store in the description. So we'll get this new battery contact put on and we'll take it from there. I think that looks okay to me. Close enough. Right, what's next? Put it back in the case. Let's check the case. See how the case is doing. The case has been sitting in here, but I don't think it's ready. And I did go to Home Bargains, but they didn't have any more of the volume 40. It does seem to be lightening up, but it's a bit slow. I don't think I've ever seen one in bad a condition as that. I don't know what's happening here. This looks strange. Those rubber buttons have lightened up. So plan B, or plan C, is to use as much of this as I can and put it in one of those other cases until we can get this brightened up a little bit better. I'm sure I can make something up. These look like the best of the bunch, so I'll use this one. There's a nice battery contact, so I'll use that one. The lens on this one looks quite good. It is. The lens on this one's very nice. It's not perfect, but it's very nice, so I'll leave it on. So Mike, I'm going to keep these for later. I've got a couple of screws in here for some reason. So what do I need? I need a screen. So I've got two screens. That is the original one that came with it. And I've peeled a protective layer off the front, and that one is a known working screen. I don't know what the protective layer was for. I don't know if it matters, but I'll put it in and I'll try it. Dust protector here. I've just realised there's a wider piece and a thinner piece on these. I've never noticed that before. You can just see some of the marks on the bottom of the screen there. I wonder if I can get them off. It looks like glue. It doesn't look like muck. It looks like glue off the manufacturing process. This is the other screen. I can't see any on there. There's a bit of a mark here. I'm going to leave this screen on. I'm going to stick with this original screen. I'll clean this contact. Hope I haven't missed anything off. I need some side panels. Oh, they're a bit yellow. These ones are better. I'll use these. Is that it? Have I left anything out? I'm going to put that on. Power switch. Put that on there. Well, that doesn't look too bad. I'll pop a couple of batteries in and we'll test it. Oh. Hold up. No, I wasn't going to put that one in. Where's the other one I've taken out? There it is. That way. And it's on. And we'll turn it off. We'll try again. The sound, remember this is the one with the low volume. The sound came out lovely there. Left and right, up and down, start and select. The shoulder buttons are working. A and B are working. That is a nice result. Okay, so there's both consoles working as they should. This bottom one I paid about £23 for, just for reference. Didn't come with any games or anything, so that's £23 from Dal Padmo. So that's it for today's video. If you would have done anything different, please let us know in the comment section. If I'd noticed the corrosion on this one, I wouldn't have bought it. I thought it was going to be a straightforward shell swap, but the corrosion did catch us off guard. But that's it. 2 working Game Boy Advances. I hope you've liked the video. Thank you to Mike at Honourable Gaming and Z Labs